Here we go. Hi, welcome to Great Goodness. I'm here with my partner, Karen Stewart, and
Hello.
our friend of Great Goodness, our creative Ashanti Files. Hey,
Hey,
um,
everybody.
I'm so glad y'all are listening to this and you're going to get to hear all the wonderment that Ashanti brings to us. If you like what you're hearing and seeing, which I know that you will, then we'd love for you to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. Um, and also, if you're someone who's putting goodness into the world, then be sure to get in touch with us. That information is down below in the About Us section, and you can get it there. Reach out to us, let us know about the goodness, or let us know about other people who are doing that because we want to talk to you. We want to magnify the goodness. That's what we want to do. Um, so now we're going to let Karen set our tone with an oracle card.
Okay. I
Ready?
love this part. I love every part of this. So we're going to pull an oracle card, not to tell a future or to ask a specific question, but just to look at the card and just see what it has to offer to you. And today we are going to use the Enchanted Map oracle cards.
You haven't
And
used
this
these
is a deck
before. This is
we
new.
haven't. Oh,
Mm-mm.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you are familiar with the artist for this. This is created by the author is Colette Baron Reed. It's illustrated by Gina Della Grataglia,
Mhm.
and it's published by Hay House.
Okay.
I love this artist, and I love the gal that writes these. So I have been shuffling the bejeebies out of this deck of cards, and this is what the back of the card looks like.
Oh, that's so
Lovely.
pretty.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of be open and we're here together. And I am going to pull a card, and this is what I have pulled. Oh, I'm just getting a sneak peek. Okay, this is card 24,
Oh, I love elephants.
right? Stuck in
Oh,
the
that's
mud.
perfect.
Stuck in the mud. So we've had,
Oh.
so I'm just looking at that.
Mm.
I kind of love the oddness of stuck in the mud. What am I supposed to do with that?
Mhm.
Um, you don't stay stuck in the mud. That's what my response to that card is. And look at that beautiful elephant. And there's a little bird with him, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
And a lovely, oh, look, there's like a quarter moon in the
Yep.
sky. And the card number is 24. I think that's correct. Yeah. And look at that beautiful colored sky. So
Hmm.
there's a lot of clouds down around, but not actually hugging up against them.
Mhm.
There's some mystical mist and a beautiful blue
Mm.
sky with a lovely moon.
I know. I was like in my late 40s when I realized that the moon is like when I really thought the moon, we can see it during the day. And like
Mhm.
you always think about the moon being at night. And like I remember looking and like I could see the sun and the moon at the same time. And I was like, what kind of magic is this? Like that I can
Right.
be
Isn't that
between the
so
sun and the
funny?
moon. Yeah.
Yeah, it
I think
doesn't
I
just,
love this. I
yeah.
love this card, and I don't want to disrupt the flow because I'm your guest.
You are the
I did
flow.
to
You are the
humbly
flow. What
submit.
is that?
But honestly, I've never done anything like a tarot reading. I know you said it's our inspiration for the day, but I love elephants, and my daughter calls me her elephant. And
Okay.
yes, and so I love that it's stuck in the mud as well because we often view elephants as these enormous creatures. They have a matriarchal society, the power of women. We think about them in
Mhm.
regards to memory, the importance of remembering your past, passing down your experiences, and
Yes.
leading the herd to water for survival, right? And
Hmm.
it's
Yes.
stuck in the mud. So
Yeah.
it's a
Right.
really powerful image. Like, even though you can be this big, miraculous creature that's praised, you're still going to get those little hiccups throughout today. You're still going to get
Yeah.
stuck in the mud. But I
Right.
love the little bird. You're never
Yeah.
alone.
Hmm.
I love
Yeah.
that you mentioned there's a sun in the sky, even though there's a mist surrounding them, there's always hope. So I feel like that was kind of the perfect card to set the vibe for our
Yeah,
discussion today.
it was. I love that. I'm so glad
Right?
you shared that. And
Yeah, that's great.
all the attributes of an elephant that you shared. And like, I had this whole series of poems I wrote about elephants once because I love them too, Ashanti. And they they will make the journey back to mourn
Mhm.
someone they
Yeah.
lost, and
Right.
that just you're right. They don't forget, they remember where they came from and who they
And
came
they're very
from.
gentle.
Yeah.
I just think that they're all love. Okay. Well, that's what we think. You viewers, you have your way with this card.
Ashanti, are you there or did we lose you?
She's there.
Yes.
I-
I'm still.
Okay, okay,
She's here.
okay. All right. Um, and so see, then I totally forgot. Oh, because now we get to hear from you, and Karen's
Well,
gonna do your bio.
I'm going to do a bio and introduce you with all the factual stuff. I'm so glad I get to read this. I'm so happy to meet you and be here with you. So you all are in for a treat. I'm going to give you a little background on Ashanti Files. Ashanti Files is the 2021 Urbana Poet Laureate Emeritus. Lord, I cannot pronounce that word to save my life. Let me try it again. Emeritus.
You got it.
Urbana Poet Laureate Emeritus. Also, a 2022 Academy of American Poets Poet Laureate Fellow,
Mm.
winner of the 2024 All Maricopa Slam, and former member of the regional poetry team hosted by Ghost Poetry Show that won the championships in both Utah and New Mexico. She's been
Wow.
published most recently, I know, right?
Hmm.
There's more. She's been published most recently in a collection by Tadpole Press, the Harvard School of Medical Humanities journal, in Vivo, featured at the 2023 Southern Arizona Arts and Cultural Alliance exhibit, Uncommon Knowledge, and declared the winner of Spotlight Poetry's fourth annual Phenomenal Women Poetry Slam. Her interests include the intersections of poetry and resilience, with a focus on writing to improve mental health. She is currently a registered nurse enrolled in a graduate program to achieve a master's degree as a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. You can find out more about Ashanti Files and her past experiences hosting working workshops at libraries and schools at www. And this is all one word, y'all, writersofoya.com. And that Oya is OYA, writersofoya.com. You can view past performances. Oh, y'all do this. You can view past performances and readings on YouTube by searching Ashanti Files Poet. And big news here, right? Her second collection of poetry, titled Unchained, will be available for
Mm.
sale on Amazon on April the 18th. That is 16 days from now.
Yep. All right.
I am so excited to have you here.
I know. Me
Whenever
too.
anyone reads my bio, I'm like, oh, for real? Oh,
I-
yeah.
right?
Yeah, you did that. You did all of that.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
Thank you.
so congratulations on your new book coming out too.
Thanks,
Uh,
sis.
and all right, this is why I reached out to you because I remember the first time I met you, and it was in a Zoom room, and Will Rieger was doing a reading, and that's how I met you. And you glowed, and you like drew me to you, and you made me feel like I belonged in that space and safe in that
Mhm.
space, and like you gave me space, and like there was just you just did that, and then you continued to embrace and encourage, and I hope I did the same for you. Whenever I saw your post or saw you, I always try to do that, but I just that energy that energy is just goodness. And so and I know when you were in that poet laureate role, I would see you all the time making spaces for other people, and I thought I want her on this show. Like I would need her to be on this show and share that. I want other people to see that. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's genuinely my pleasure. It makes me so happy to know that I've had an impact to where even though I'm not in Illinois anymore, people still believe me
Hmm.
because I let them know that they were valued and
Hmm.
I'm not afraid to hold that space. So I'm deeply honored. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that is what you do. You hold a space and you let people know
Mhm.
they're valued, which
Yeah.
I mean makes sense what you're working towards doing also in this other
Right.
part of your life. I mean, because that is really needed there too. I can't even imagine how many people you impact like
You
that.
know, it's actually quite amazing. Just a little bit about me. I've written poetry since I was in elementary school. Back then, in like Black communities, you didn't hear the word anxiety much. And so I went to the doctor with my mom because I had a lot of tummy aches. And the doctor told her that it was anxiety, that I was stressed out. And so my mom left. She dropped me off at home. She left, and she came back a little while later with a journal. It was a yellow journal with cats and dogs and this really pretty pen. And she said,
Oh,
Ashanti, you must write. And
Oh,
so I always thought it would be like the TV shows. I was like, Dear Diary. And then nothing would come out. So I, I realized I wasn't a Dear Diary girl. I was a poet. It would come out in
oh,
poems, in rhymes, in lyricism, and I haven't stopped since. So fast forward to, a few years ago, I've always written, but I hadn't published before. And I published my first book after the death of my brother. And so I was thinking, I could be gone at any moment. I was the oldest, he was the youngest, and he's gone. And I wanted to leave something behind.
mm,
So I published my first book, I self published it. And then I was thinking, writing has always helped me. And my daughter's struggling with grief. Maybe I should get her to write too. And then I was like, Urbana has arts grants. I'm going to start a nonprofit. I'm going to start the Writers of Oya. And what we do
ah,
is we teach adolescent teens the art of poetry and writing as a coping skill. Um, I feel like it's been successful. Our groups have always been really small, really intimate. And just like you said, I had that impact to make you feel like you were an important person in the room. I
hmm,
have that impact too, where I don't have 1,000 people in my workshops. If I get 3 people to show up, they're going to get the same amount of
mhm.
energy and love and ferocity as 1,000 people would. Like,
hmm.
I deeply in my heart believe that you change the world one person at a time,
Yeah.
one person at a time.
Ah,
So, yeah, as a nurse, it corresponded with this. And I'm almost done. I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling. So
keep
as a
No,
nurse,
going.
no, keep going. This is all great
I'm,
goodness. I'm
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 trying
coming
to,
out of my chair. I'm so
I'm,
excited by what you're saying.
I'm
Oh,
trying to connect these dots for you, right? So I was a kid with anxiety, started to write poetry. Brother died, started to share poetry, started to teach others to share their poetry. And in the middle of that, I'm a nurse. And so I started doing research. I'm a scientist. I started doing research like, man, poetry has got to do something. I see the way it changes these kids in one 60-minute session. So I started doing research and I saw the parts of your brain that are activated when you write poetry. It's the parts of the brain responsible for motivation. So, what's the difference between
Mm,
inspiration and motivation? You can inspire someone and they're like, wow, I left that reading feeling really, really great. And then that's it, it's done, it's over with. But when you motivate someone, when you activate those dopamine pathways, it automatically produces change. It changes your behavior, it changes your thinking patterns, and it even changes your neurochemistry. So, realizing all of that, I was like, crap, I gotta go back to school. I gotta be a nurse practitioner.
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an amazing journey, and it brings me back to the elephant. Elephants
Oh,
take tremendously long journeys, and
Hmm.
sometimes they feel alone. Sometimes they slip up. They're never alone, and they always make it.
Hmm.
So that card, like, it's really speaking to me.
I love that. Now,
oh,
Ashanti, do you think you would read a poem for us?
Absolutely. I would love to read a
Okay.
poem for you. Okay, so I want to be sure that I do this correctly. Um, I'm going to read you a new piece because I love it when I do interviews and you get access to something no one else
Hmm.
has. It makes people want,
Yay!
Hmm.
Okay.
And
So
is this?
you won't find this on YouTube, TikTok,
Okay.
anywhere. You will only find this through this program.
Yay!
Okay, so this one is called Unsteady, and it's more of a written piece as opposed to a spoken word piece. And afterwards, I can tell you about the difference. But I wrote this for my husband.
Oh.
Marriage, at times, is like having vertigo. I try to walk steady, tiptoe on the tightrope between love and independence, thinking that I'm walking in a straight line, but my body is skewed, twisted, slightly to the left. He holds on.
Mm.
He
Mhm.
holds on to me because he knows I'm unsteady, balancing responsibility on the tip of a knife, trying not to stumble one foot in front of the other across the thin white lines of expectations versus reality. Still, he holds on to me.
Mm.
Navigating the waters of motherhood like a drunken sailor, sea legs feeling wobbly on land, he whispers affirmations when I am shouting, I cannot. He holds on to me,
Oh.
slipping his fingers into mine to pull me upwards. And when I hit him with remember the time, he is steady enough to walk away.
Mm.
Marriage is like vertigo, in that sometimes I feel the need to say something that isn't quite right, but it's actually twisted a little skewed, just slightly to the left in my mind. With double vision, time together seems like a prison sentence instead of two souls being paired as one. Dropping eaves, hear the pleas of forget me nots pruned out by their roots, like the time I asked for a divorce and he said it was the baby blues, soft hues of lavender and rose mystify my mind. I
Oh.
have been unsteady more than one time, and the line that love is patient seems like a sublime way to dismiss warning signs. He reminds me to breathe. Gentle hands on my shoulders. He's holding on to me, and it feels so good to be
Mm.
steady.
Oh, oh my great goodness.
I have to
Oh,
say that like, everything you're saying, everything you're reading, I find myself speechless. Like I'm just like,
oh my
okay, so go keep
gosh.
going. Because so is
Oh,
this from Unchained? Is this what we'll find in Unchained?
No, I actually wrote that 2 weeks ago, so you will not find that one in a
oh,
change.
that is fresh, fresh ink.
It's fresh, fresh. Yes,
Ah.
yes,
That
it's
was
fresh, fresh.
so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh,
You know what? I don't write love poetry. And when I said
yes,
that
you
to my
do.
husband, he said, You wrote a love poem. And I was like, I don't write.
I can
Oh,
relate to that because I've never written love poems, and then all of a sudden I realized I'm writing love poems because of my partner and because of the way
Mhm.
he holds me. I
yeah,
I wrote them without even, and I'm like, oh my God, these are love poems. Like, who
yeah.
knew I
Yeah,
had one in me? Like,
You know, that's
exactly.
so nice. It's like you wrote that for your husband, but it's for everybody.
mm-hmm.
Like I was so oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah,
universal love. That is love. That was, you were sharing the love.
Yeah.
yeah,
I could feel his love for you, your love for
Yes.
him, and also the the gratitude that I felt that someone's being loved that way.
Right.
yes,
You know?
Yes.
yeah.
It was such a joyful poem. Just like, this is love. This is pure and true. It is so much truth. Just so much
Yeah.
truth coming through there.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes. I'm very transparent about mental health and my struggles with mental health. And when you have so many examples in your life of what abused love or power and
Mhm.
control disguised as love, when you get real love, it's foreign.
Hmm.
Like it feels like something is wrong. And I appreciate that my partner's always been patient enough with me to be like, no, this is normal. I'm not going to
Mm-hmm.
leave because you said something hurtful. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm
Yes.
still here with you, just like that little birdie with the elephant in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Um,
can I go back to something that you said in the very beginning? You were talking about your mom brought you this journal. Like she
Mhm.
had, do you know how she knew to do that? Like,
I honestly, you know what, Angela, I'm going to ask her because I've told this story a number of times. I don't think I ever asked her. And then there wasn't Google. So
mm-hmm.
she couldn't have
right.
Googled it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know if the doctor I honestly don't know. I'm going to ask her.
Okay. Well, I want to know.
I want to
Let me
know. I
find
have a
out.
guess about it, though. I have a guess. I have a
Okay.
guess that your mother was feeling your need and she loved you.
Yeah.
And that's what came to her to do for you.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's a mother thing.
Mm-hmm.
hmm Yeah.
And
It's
that was
been
and it was
amazing.
brilliant.
And even now, like if I have a big competition, I tell my mom, we pray together. She gives me a pep
Mm-hmm.
talk. Sometimes she's a little hard on me. She's like, you need to perform new poems, or are you still staying at the top? And I'm just like, yeah, mom.
Right? Yes.
But I don't know if she ever saw this for me. I feel incredibly blessed
Yeah.
at the accolades in my bio because sometimes I'm so detached from it.
Oh.
Um, yeah, it's I'm gonna call my mom after this.
Well, give her my thanks for that and for you being here. And wow.
So
Yeah.
I have another question for you. Going
Okay.
back again, you mentioned losing your brother,
hmm
and the book. Then you had your book. You put your
hmm
book, your collection together and brought it out. Did you work with? Well, grief never leaves us. So, do you work with grief through poetry? And
I do. I work with everything through poetry, and I had never experienced grief to that extent before.
yeah,
Um, the crazy thing about poetry is, even though I'm writing frequently, some poems take a long time to come out. And my poem about grief, I've been working on for
yes,
about 8 years. It hasn't
wow,
come out. It comes out in little snippets, but the whole picture isn't there. So I do write through my grief. I encourage others to write through their grief.
Yeah.
And what I try to do is find the reason that I mourn so much is because I feel like the future was lost. I'm the oldest of eight, and he was the youngest of eight.
wow.
So as I was becoming a young adult, I wasn't there. So
Mm,
part of my grief is guilt, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, that I should have spent more time. I should have did this. I should have did that. I don't have that many memories. Um, so I'm still working through my grief. I don't know if I've worked through mine enough to help others work through theirs completely, but I'm hoping that's something I also learned in this field of like
Mm-hmm.
psychiatric mental health to so
Mm-hmm.
that I can be able to teach that skill to others.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do believe that grief, I mean, some people will disagree with this, but I believe it's something that we don't get rid of. We learn how to live with it, how to even thrive with it,
Yeah.
but
You allow it to be in you. I think
hmm
that's what, like, for me, I'm just trying to work on being with it, just
Mhm.
allowing it and not judging it and not letting it make me cuckoo. But just like, I guess, recognizing it, just knowing
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
and just accepting it that that is the truth. Like, this is a thing that has happened and this is how I'm feeling. And
yeah.
it's
Now,
just
oil,
just come to terms. Yeah.
yeah. Now,
It's like
oil,
it gets a little easier every day, but it's never gone.
mm-mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
no. So I did want to ask you too about Oya again.
hmm
Now, you started that in Urbana. Are
hmm
you doing that we're in Arizona?
Yes, but it looks completely different.
Okay.
So, um, Arizona is more of a conservative state. And
Okay.
so it's been more difficult for me to engage students and the teens who could benefit from this program here. So my first year doing it here, I had a really solid group at the library. It was really solid. Um, and then the second year, I tried to branch out into the schools like I had in Urbana. And I really hope you get a lot of views on this because I want to call this school out. They know who they
Mhm.
are. I was doing a workshop on poetry and how
Mhm.
we can write our feelings in poetry.
Mhm.
It was for a fourth grade class, really basic, really simple. You can do poems and you can do feelings, kind of that kind of approach, you
Mhm.
know. The
Yeah.
Right.
kids are like 9 years old. And
Mhm.
this, I said, all right, so for our first poem, we're going to write something we like about ourselves. Our first line is something we like about myself.
Mhm.
I like my fill in the blank. These are 9 year olds.
Mhm.
And one kid raises his hand and says, I don't like anything about myself. And so I
Oh.
said, wow, how does it feel to say that? The teacher interrupted me and said, we don't talk about our feelings here.
Oh
So
no.
Whoa.
it's been difficult, and it I
Ooh.
don't think that that experience is reflective of the entire educational system. It was a
Yeah.
single experience in one school, but I feel like it was a very potent point to the kind of challenges I'm facing,
Mhm.
where so often people will refuse to intervene at the foundation of the problem. And
Mhm.
then when it blows up, they're like, oh my goodness, what happened? It's like you totally missed what this child said, that they don't
Mhm.
like a single thing about themselves because you were personally offended. I asked how he felt about it. It sounded a little too therapeutic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yes, the right of Oya is still going on. It looks different in that I work with other nonprofits now
Okay.
to deliver workshops. So one of them was Rooted Soul, really cool setup. They have a phenomenal impact in the community, and I did one writing workshop for them. I'd worked for Tanner Community Development Center, and we had a group of 80 students. Oh my goodness. From ages like 6 to
Whoa.
26, and they were in age appropriate, like
Mhm.
breakout rooms, individual rooms. Ryan and I did it together, and that was phenomenal. It was just like mental health and art the entire day with spiritual undertones and coping skills. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Oh.
Um, we've been working with just other organizations. I had to get really creative. Like, I don't restrict myself to adolescent femmes. I'm speaking to adults. I partnered with the Arizona State University, and they said they were going to be sponsors of the Writers of Oya. So I'm able to get my curriculum in and out there. So yes, we're still doing it.
Yay.
It looks
Okay.
Yay.
really different. I don't post on social media a lot because of that privacy element.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, we're still up and going.
That is
So,
so exciting.
yeah, I know, Karen, I'm not giving you a chance to say anything. I'm so
No,
sorry.
I'm just making sounds and waving my
Okay.
hands around. I don't need to say anything. I'm just excited. This is,
Well,
Yeah.
because when someone says, I do not like a single thing about myself, and I know there have been times when I would have said that same thing, that
Mhm,
is a crisis. Like, that is
mhm.
someone in a crisis. Like, that hurts when you feel that way. That hurts so much.
And he was 9 years old at the oldest
Nine.
and that
10.
and what kind of strength of character that 9-year-old had to actually be able to give voice to that
Right.
feeling. I mean, that is a person that will probably end up writing poetry. I hope.
Mhm.
Because
And you
that
know,
number one, that they can recognize the feeling, and then that they can admit that, and then that they can share that fact is
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing about kids. The more I work with them, as a mother and an adult, we often underestimate the depth of their
Hmm.
feelings.
Yeah,
I'm guilty of it. I did it with my daughters. It's like, oh, mom, I'm so stressed. What do you gotta be stressed out about? You don't pay no
yeah.
rent. You don't pay no bills. You don't buy no food.
Right.
I know.
And then,
Right.
I know.
as I learned, as I knew better, I started to do better, to, paraphrase Maya Angelou. And now when it's, mom, I'm stressed out. Okay, let's hear about it. You know,
Right. Yeah.
because those little interactions build trust. So
Hmm.
when the big things do happen, you've already established that relationship. When they're a child, they're more likely to come closer to you. You have physical touch. The physical touch is going to release the oxytocin, which is going to improve your bonding.
Hmm. Uh,
Man, if I could do it all over again, man.
I have a feeling you did an incredible job as it
Yeah.
is, especially
Thank
since
you.
you are her elephant. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
Right.
what a compliment.
yeah.
So, um, okay, so I was going to ask you if you would maybe read another poem. Do you?
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
so what I was saying with the first piece was there is a difference between a
Yes.
poem, a page piece, and a
Hmm.
spoken word piece. And I wrote
Right.
my first book, I didn't really understand that. So my first book is all like spoken word poems. And my second book is mostly page pieces. It is poetry meant to be read. And so it comes across differently. So I'm going to read you one from Unchained.
All right.
That is, if my phone decides to cooperate with me, I appreciate your patience. So let's see. I don't know. I usually try to trust my instincts
Do it.
when it comes to choosing a
Always
poem.
good. Oh, that's always good.
Okay, so this one is called Spoken Word, and this one is was published by Tadpole Press in their spring anthology.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be deep. It does not need to speak to me like the whispered prayers of our ancestors sprouted across the earth on the wind. Make it plain and unimpeachable, like white bread, palatable enough to say I was fed even while my soul remained unsatisfied. Let the words glide effortlessly on a northern flowing stream, move towards better things, but slowly, ever so slowly, progressively, never too fast. Speak to me with words not expected to linger past a doubt or last longer than the breath of conscious thought.
Mm.
So
Oh,
that's the opening piece in Unchained.
oh wow.
That's the opening piece. That's how we go
Yeah,
into it.
yes. Yes,
Oh,
and this book was really fun. I thought I was due for another one. It's been a while. They're all page poems. They're all shorter. Because I'm a spoken word artist, I'm a slam poet. And for those who don't know, slam poetry is supposed to be performed in front of a live audience. It's very performative based, and it's usually competitive. And so you've got 3 minutes with a 10-second grace period to say a poem. And so the poems tend to be really long, like 550 words is my average slam poem. So to write short poetry was actually really
Okay.
hard for me.
wow. Yes.
What is this? And then once I got into it, I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. This is different. And so, yeah, most of the poems in Unchained are shorter. Some are playful, some ask questions. And then you get a couple of deep ones like spoken word. And then I actually have two duets in there that were written with my husband. And
Oh,
Nuh-uh.
yeah,
Oh, I wish he
so
was here and we could have y'all read them.
yeah, so what we do is I text him a few lines of poetry if I'm feeling poetic that day. And sometimes he's like, oh, that's nice. And sometimes he responds. And so on one of the occasions he responded, I went back. And so we were texting lines back and
Oh,
forth.
wow.
And I'm like, we just wrote a poem together. And so I wanted to honor that process and that practice that he and I have to encourage each other throughout the day by putting two of those pieces in this book, Unchained.
oh, that is
Yes.
so beautiful. Oh, my husband's going to be so upset when I tell him about that.
I was just thinking that. Um, so gonna be
Oh,
jealous. So
yes. Oh,
one thing I feel like I heard you say it sounds like to me you like made this shift. Like you were like I want to play with this page poem. So
Mhm.
what was that process like for you? Like how did you inform that
Angela,
even?
it started with a dare.
Oh,
It did. Ryan dared me to write a poem under 100 words. And I was
oh,
like, it's impossible. It's impossible, I said. And then I wrote something, and he's like, "That's crap. Write it again." And so I was mad, and then spoken word came out, and I was like, "He's like, that's really good." And I was like, "That is really good." And so, as an artist, you want to try to continue growing and challenging yourself. And so I was like, "Okay, let me keep writing shorter poetry." And then I remembered the text that I was sending to him in the morning, and I'm like, "These are all short poems." So in
mhm.
Unchained, you have a couple of poems that just say good mornings, and they're good morning texts that I've sent to my husband. Um,
Oh.
yeah. So, some writers are really, really disciplined. One of my mentors is Will Rieger, the inaugural poet laureate for Urbana. And he's trying to instill in me, this practice of discipline, of releasing my anger, not being afraid to write joyfully or curiously or even weirdly
Mhm.
sometimes. And I'm not. I'm the kind of person who writes when I'm feeling something deeply.
Mhm.
So the way that page poetry has changed is that I'm making myself just sit and write without being emotionally triggered.
Mhm.
Mm,
And the writing looks very different. It's
I'm
not as angry. Yeah. So I
yeah.
don't think I have like a process where I'm sitting down every day or
mm.
even once a week picking something. I'm looking at a trash bag and I'm like, wow, you know, look at that crap. And then an eco poem comes out. And then I don't
Ah,
write for
yeah,
a week.
yeah.
So I wish I had advice for all the writers out there who want to kind of get better at their craft and master their craft. I motivate you to just go with the flow, like because I do
Mhm.
not have a process at all, girl.
I actually think that is advice
It
because
is.
like
Yeah.
Karen is very disciplined. Well, okay, not
Yeah.
disciplined. What is the
I have
word?
I've mastered the illusion of being disciplined.
She 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 sits. Okay, I should let me not speak for you,
I have a
Karen.
process. I have a process. My process is being open. That's what my
Mm,
process is.
Every day.
I try to do that every day. I do write every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't necessarily write a poem. I
Mm-hmm.
would love to, but I just make myself open because poetry is my heart, and it has been for as long as I've been able to read a book. Um,
hmm
I've always loved poetry. It is my soul. And I just love everything about it, how it can seem to be a poem about the tree in your yard, but then you're like, this is my relationship with my mother
Mm-hmm.
or,
Yeah.
whatever. So it's always bigger than that. But I don't do well. I mean, actually, I write a lot to prompts, but I don't write to prompts the way people think. Like if you give me a prompt that says, here's a poem and include a cat, some bark from a tree, a leaf, and it needs to be about your next door neighbor. I'm going to write, if I do write to the prompt, I'm going to be writing about why that has ticked me off and I refuse to write about that. I'm going to write about this instead. So
Yeah.
for me, prompts is just about being open and whatever
hmm
comes, just put the pen in my hand and just put whatever comes on the paper and then
Yeah.
craft it into something that is pleasing to you, for
Yeah.
whatever that means. Yeah.
And but see, I
That's my
I
process.
cannot sit down and write every day because like I try. I've been trying because I have Karen, I have Kathy Haley, I have all these people in my life. Will is so he is so good about that.
hmm
And he and I tried writing together some and like but I can't make myself write. It has to I don't know, it comes from something.
It does.
And so
Yeah.
that thing won't always show up. And so I was trying to write every day and I found that I was just literally writing, hey, I can't think of anything to write.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
Well,
make myself crazy. I'm just not gonna do and so I think what you said is permission for people like me to
Yeah.
go,
yeah,
this is okay.
it's whatever. It can be
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I do think
Exactly.
journaling, like your mom knew,
Yeah.
journaling is magic and it doesn't have to be dear diary, yesterday at school I did this, or anything.
Yeah,
It can just be piece of paper, pencil. Just put the date on the top of the page and see what else might happen after that.
absolutely. Absolutely. You may be surprised. People often are of what comes out.
Do y'all see this?
I know. Do you see,
You
Ashanti?
see
Do you
the
see what's
you see
happening?
the
It's so creepy. It is so creepy.
find a better way. I've got to
It's
find a
not
better way.
subtle at all.
What else to do? Um, okay.
That's Angela's secret symbol.
I like it. It works. It's effective.
So, so okay. So all right, this makes me think of the mayfly. Do you know mayflies only live 24 hours?
24 hours.
Right?
What a glorious 24 hours they
And it
must have.
is. It is. They do. They do. And they're amazing. Okay, but that's not the point. So we only have 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes left makes me think of this mayfly. And I'm like, what do we want to do for these 5 minutes? And Ashanti, if
Hmm.
there's something you want to say or share, I want you to do that. I also, I would really I like hearing your poetry. And so I don't
Okay.
know. But I also want it to be up to you. So,
Okay. I can do both. I'll do the blurb first because
okay.
the next poem I picked is really good, I think.
Oh,
Uh-oh, I messed something up. Let me know. Okay, I can still
uh,
see you. Perfect.
Okay.
Yay. I love it when technology works. Um, So, yes, like I said, my book Unchained, it's more like a little pamphlet, honestly, than a book. You see some poets and they have like a book and it's like 70 pages of poetry. I am not that disciplined. Let's call it a
Mm.
poetry pamphlet. Poetry pamphlet Unchained will be available on Amazon this month. Um, you can find out more about me. You can follow me on Instagram at Shawnee Files or Shanti Files on Facebook, but do not expect to see a lot of my poetry there. Because I'm a competitive poet, I usually
Mhm.
save my best stuff. I don't post it all to the internet, but I do like to post like encouraging things, inspiring things, stuff to make you think. If you're a writer, don't stop. It is essential that we write through this time. We have a
Mhm.
responsibility to document what's happening in society right now, even though it makes us feel icky and it makes us feel powerless at times. Write it. You never know who's going to find it 200 years from now.
Mhm.
So please continue to write.
Yes.
Um, what else? I'm really excited. I'm going to be featuring at the Tucson Poetry Festival in a couple of weeks. That's really exciting. And then I'm going for a shot to represent Arizona nationally at the Blackberry Peach Poetry Slam. So, depending on
Wow.
when you post this, I may have an update for you. But I'll take any prayers, good vibes, intentions towards that. It'd be wonderful to just represent on a national level because Urbana and Illinois is my foundation, right? And
Mhm.
you guys
mhm.
have nurtured and watered me so much. I had no choice but to bloom and go upward. And I'm forever grateful
Have
for that.
choice.
Yeah.
Oh,
So to
Uh,
end, this poem is called Impermanence. And I picked it before you made the comment about the mayflies. And just like everything else in our conversation, the universe has worked in our favor today.
mhm.
It's called Impermanence. I want to run in the margins, use chalk to write in the rain, and rise like the morning mist among the mountains. I want to thrive within the impermanence of it all. Mountains become sand, and stars fall to the earth as children wish upon them like a song or hymn. We are rising above the crash of the tide. We are rising above all, while inside we are dreaming and fearing the end. There is no beginning. Only transitions, there is no undoing, only becoming, there is no time but right now. I want to run along the cliffs like a waterfall. I want to dive beneath the waves of the sea and find myself among the clouds.
Mm.
I want to smile so bright that the sun blushes in envy. I want to be happy with the impermanence of it all. That's that
Mm.
piece.
oh,
Thank you. Now,
Oh,
and I do want to say that all of that information will be down below in the little about us thing. So how to
Mhm.
find Ashanti and how to um, keep up with what she's doing and know more about her and all of that good stuff. So that's really important. Oof, I love your work. I love
oh,
your
that
work.
was such a treat.
And
So,
Thank
oh my
you.
goodness.
the way you read, you
Yeah.
know, I I really like the way you read. I also. Um, So now is the time when we normally do a prompt. And I feel like there were so many like possible prompts out of our conversation today that I'm actually kind of struggling to choose one. Um, so, so because I thought a lot about the elephant and I
Mhm.
thought a lot about how, your daughter sees you as that for her. And I mean, because they are gentle and they move more patiently, but they are fierce. And
Mhm.
um and so I thought about that as a prompt. So I think we'll give, but then you talked about this classroom and I thought, oh, I like that. I like that too. And I think it's okay. That's the one we're going to do. Okay. So because
This
I
is
had,
a little peek inside of Angie's brain.
that's what just happened. I'm so
That
sorry.
just happened.
Um, okay. Well, because I think it is so important right now that we remember to be joyful also because it's a
Mhm.
really easy time to get lost in sadness, despair, anger, rage, and all of those emotions are valid.
Mhm.
All of those emotions have a
Mhm.
place. They all belong. That's so, but it is equally, and we talked about grief,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and but it's equally as important that we retain and even grow our joy.
Yes.
And so,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah. And I feel like that's even what you're talking about. You're talking about the dopamine, you're talking about, and so I think this is really important. So I think we write about what we love about ourselves and we start there. What is one thing you love about
Oh,
yourself? Like that,
Mhm.
when you said that tonight, I thought, I want to write about that. And look, you don't have to write about it. I say this every time. You can dance it. You can
Mhm.
sing it, you can
could
paint
color it.
it. Yep, you can color it, you can collage it, you can photograph it. Like you
Yeah.
you know what what is one thing you love about yourself? About your body? And
Mhm.
then what is one thing you you love about your mind?
Mm.
What is
Oh,
one thing you love about your personality? What is one thing that when you walk into a room only you bring?
oh,
What is
Ooh,
what is that thing?
that's a
mm,
Um,
good one.
yeah.
yeah. And now I'm going to invite the two of you. If someone's listening and they're raising their hand and they're saying, I don't love anything about myself, what do we say back? How do we respond?
I know what I say back.
Okay.
I say what you always need to know is true about you is you are the only person that is you. And that is special and it's a gift. And that's the truth.
That is the
You,
truth.
you are special.
Hmm. It's
And
very true.
if you're feeling at any time that you're not, those are feelings. The truth is you are the only you that there is. And that is a big deal.
Hmm.
You're a big deal.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and that's really great advice. I have been in that situation, and when I'm able to facilitate, I acknowledge it. I
Hmm.
acknowledge the strength it took to say that out
Yeah.
loud
Hmm.
Yes.
because so many people feel it inside, but they'll say, oh, I love my hair, I love my makeup, I love my shoes, I love my job, I love my money, I love my car, I love my house. But if someone is brave enough to say, I don't love anything about me,
Yeah.
I just hold that space and acknowledge it. Wow,
Yeah.
Hmm.
thank you for saying that out loud. And then my
Yeah.
follow-up question is, how does it feel to
Hmm.
finally say it out loud?
Yes.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then, and then I say, and then I say, okay, so I, what if you write into that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where does that go? Where
Mm-hmm.
does that come from? Why in this moment today do you not love anything about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because I know that's been true for me, and for me, it's been
Sure.
it's been different things at different times. Like
Absolutely.
maybe I'm feeling shame, maybe I've been
Yeah.
hurt or mistreated, maybe somebody said something to me that really hurt me deeply. Someone, you know, sometimes a stranger can hurt you, sometimes a loved one can hurt you,
Yeah.
and you carry that. Like so why today do you feel that way? Let's
Yeah.
write into
Yeah.
that. Yeah, or let's dance into that. Let's dance it out. Let's sing it out. Let's paint it
Yeah.
out. Yeah. So that's our prompt today. Um, I could not. I I was so tired because I am not an evening person. And but I knew I was like, this is going to be so good. And I'm going to feel so good when I leave here. And now I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go to sleep. I don't know if
I
I'm going
know,
to go to
right? We're
sleep.
all jazzed up. Everybody's
Yeah,
jazzed up now.
I know.
Thank you guys. What a
Thank
wonderful
you.
idea. Great goodness. I love everything about it. I love the intent in it. Thank you so much for remembering me, like having people from like my hometown, like, yo, what's up?
So, you cannot be forgotten.
No,
Oh,
That's the
Ashanti,
way that
thank you
is.
so
Yeah.
much. I'm just so delighted that you were here and that we got to spend time together and that
Yes.
other people will get to spend time with you this way.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, I'm supposed to do this. Okay. Like,
Oh,
comment,
oh, the
subscribe. I
thing,
always forget this part.
that
And,
thing.
you don't want to miss the people that are coming up. And make sure that Ashanti feels your love.
Yeah.
Show her the love for all of these things that she
Yeah.
has coming up in her life. And remember that Unchained will be out on Amazon. Remember that she's going to take the stage. And remember to be sending that love out to her. And yeah, like, comment, and
Be
subscribe.
generous of spirit. And you know you liked this. Don't be greedy. Share it with your friends, people.
Yep, exactly. All right. Great goodness.